If you want to visit a town that's transformed itself, then Turin is it. From Italy's industrial capital to a centre for modern art and home to the 2006 Winter Olympics. This is Italian Renaissance at its very best. And for a man who loves coffee, this is heaven. Welcome to the quietly elegant former capital of Italy, Turin. This strategic town on the shores of the Po River began life in the 3rd century BC as home to a Celtic tribe of bullkeepers known as the Torini. Under Roman rule, Turin became an important camp protecting the empire's northern borders. And nowadays, it's a city with a young, vibrant coffee culture that's undergone radical change. Turin's rejuvenation began under Duke Charles Emmanuel I in 1620, and now it's considered one of Europe's finest Baroque cities. This was home to the House of Savoy, a noble dynasty that settled the region and helped develop many of the city's historic landmarks. The cafes here are amongst Italy's most elegant and serve as the base for Turin's social and political development. Generations of writers, journalists, intellectuals and artists would gather to chew the fat inside these coffee temples. I'm here to visit the Cafe San Carlo, which was made famous during the Italian Wars of Independence. This was a meeting place for intellectuals and patriots alike. And apparently the place was even shut down a couple of times due to subversive activity. This charming Baroque-style cafe opened its doors in 1837. And in the central room there is an enormous Murano glass chandelier that sets an opulent tone. The decor here is breathtaking, with lavish gold mirrors, plush red velvet seats, and delicate porcelain crockery. This was the very first Italian cafe to use gaslight, and did indeed serve as a favourite meeting place for the Risorgimento, a group of patriots pushing for Italian unification. The authorities understood that if you wanted to know the mood of the people, you had only to listen to what was being said inside this cafe. Chief amongst Turin's famous exports is coffee. In fact, one company here supplies over 60% of Italy's coffee needs.
Coffee for Italian people is really a great tradition. At the same time, it's a very popular product. So it's not expensive, and everybody likes to enjoy it because it's not just a drink. It's not just a coffee. It's absolutely something more. It's a way of staying together with friends or with our barista, that's at the beginning of the day is one of our favorite friends. And is a little momentum in our day, a sign of distinction between us and all the others.
Giuseppe explained that there are over 900 roasters in Italy alone, and that every region has its preferred blends. Lavazza presents a large portfolio of coffee and blends to satisfy these tastes.
If you notice, for example, is one of the few products in foods that you can indicate as my. It's difficult to say my bread or my pasta or my wine.
Yes.
But you say my coffee. This is my coffee.
I understand.
So it's something to you. It's like to choose a dress or shoes or glasses. It's something really that is in our personality.
Lavazza started with a single grocery store in the centre of Turin and has rapidly expanded to become a global phenomenon. Any one of these pallets you see right here can hold up to 600 kilograms of coffee. That is 84,000 cups of coffee per pallet. Lavazza can hold 11,800 pallets at any one time, and just to blow your mind, they serve an approximate 14 billion cups of coffee each year. To ensure that these 14 billion coffees are made correctly, Lavazza have run comprehensive training programs for cafe owners and baristas for more than 25 years.
It's very important because the training activity is a sort of way to control the quality in the cup. It's the biggest coffee school in the world because you can decide to have the same training in Turin, in Rome, in Sydney, in New York, with the same contents, with the same professional training. And after this, the barista is able to prepare the perfect espresso, to explain to the consumer the quality and the characteristic of the espresso, and overall, abroad, to prepare the perfect Italian cappuccino.
Let's say that the coffee world is made of different species. We can find out in more than 60 different species, but just two are used. They are Arabica and Robusta. They are different. They are cultivated and produced in different countries and different world regions. They are different, absolutely different.
Francesco explained that Lavazza buy coffee beans from 25 countries and that it's critical to deliver consistent flavors to the consumer. Arabica beans typically have a mild, smooth taste, whereas Robusta delivers a stronger flavor and is richer in caffeine. Getting this mix right requires exact blending.
When we talk about a blend, it's always made up by Arabica and Robusta.
Yes.
Blended together.
Yeah.
Then we can decide the different countries that compose the blend and the different percentage to calibrate the taste in order to satisfy every consumer needs in terms of flavor. Then, normally, north of Italy, people like that one,
yes.
so 100% Arabica or with the moderate Robusta
Somewhere
content.
in here.
Yeah, those three blends.
Yeah.
This one is not random. This is the most sold blend in Italy.
So I'm common, that's what you're telling me?
Yeah.
That's fine. Over the past decade, Lavazza have begun expanding their range to include some experimental products.
4 years ago, we started working with Ferran Adrià, a very eclectic Spanish chef. Today is considered the most incredible chef in terms of innovation. Together we changed the texture of coffee, the consistency and the temperature to get another issue. Now, using a siphon, espresso, it's solid. It's no more an espresso you can drink, in this case you can heat it. And you can do it using an espresso made spoon with a hole in the middle. The same product has been then transported to the macchiato concept, using an espresso, froth and a milk served together. The product is finally expressed under the cappuccino shape with another value. And as it's made of cappuccino, of course, a little sprinkle of Coke on top.
Francesco showed me the ultimate science experiment, coffee caviar.
For coffee caviar, we do use this. It looks strange, but we have to make something else. Then for making many portions of caviar, we developed, according to the Ferran Adrià, another machine, well, a caviar maker. So we just put it here, we load the caviar, a few more. And just doing a little pressure, we just let the product drip in water. Then for joking a little with the product, we decided to serve it in this way. With a little dollop of whipped cream. We just put it again. It looks caviar, but it's absolutely coffee. Then we finish it with a little ground coffee on top. Here it is.
After the break, I'll explore Turin's obsession with chocolate and learn more about the world-famous cappuccino.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Macchiato.
In the 1600s, chocolate made its way across the border from France, and the local pastry chefs soon developed a reputation for excellence with this new fancy product. Initially, chocolate was only available as a drink, though nowadays Turin is famous the world over for its delectable cocoa creations. The process for making drinking chocolate is similar to that of coffee, and traditional cafes still make delicious combinations. Perhaps the most famous of all the cafes in Torino is located in the heart of the Roman Quarter and is home to one of the finest chocolate-coffee combinations.
So here we are, Paul. This is the Bicerin, one of the oldest cafes in Turin. And buongiorno. You know, the original Bicerin was invented here, which is a mix of hot coffee, hot chocolate, and milk cream.
Oh, that sounds perfect.
Would you like to taste it?
Oh, can we order one, please?
Possiamo ordinare 2 Bicerin, così intanto li filmiamo? Yeah.
Coffee first.
Coffee, must be a good coffee.
Yeah.
Sì, un'arabica con un 10% di robusta per...
So it's an Arabica coffee with just 10% of Robusta.
Okay, so it's pretty smooth.
Yeah.
Sì, perché è cioccolata.
Oh, this is the good stuff. Oh, wow. That's beautiful. It looks delicious, it really does.
It's very typical from Turin.
And this is only in, you will only find this in Turin.
Yeah, in the north of Italy, but you won't find Bicerin in the south of Italy, in the center of Italy. The original recipe is from Turin.
Okay.
Andiamo a finire.
And now the milk.
Mangiando questa crema
On
di...
top,
Or the cream.
Yeah.
Proprio così. Perché la cioccolata è fondente, no? E quindi non rimane troppo. Nella cioccolata non c'è latte, no?
And there is no milk into chocolate.
It looks really divine. And that's it.
Prego.
Please.
May I? Do I have to stir it, or is it just...
Allora, io lo assaggerei così.
Yeah, it has to be tasted like that. Then if you want, you can stir it. But normally we have it like that.
So you can show me how to eat this, or drink this, or whatever it is you do with this. You just drink it.
You see, you will feel first coffee,
Yes.
then chocolate, at the end the milk.
Okay, my turn. Still very hot too.
Sì, molto caldo. Però sopra è freddo.
This is molto bene.
Grazie molte.
They opened the shop in 1763 just to give a service to people going to the sanctuary. It was one of the first places in Turin to serve hot chocolate in the cup. So this is the chocolate. They produce milk chocolate and dark chocolate, which is served normally with coffee because it melts into coffee and it is excellent.
So you would put this in coffee?
If you want, you can put it into coffee or eat it while drinking coffee.
Oh, okay, all right, specifically. And they make this here.
Può cappucciare, però è come fosse la nocciolina con l'aperitivo, ecco.
Exactly. It's like the noisette with the aperitif.
Beautiful. In addition to its beautiful chocolates, there's even cocoa pasta for sale. This is generally served with game ragout, and I'm told it's delicious. Another of Turin's famous chocolate-producing cafes is located across from the Royal Palace, under the porticos of Piazza Castello, in the heart of town. Cafe Baratti and Milano was one of the city's very first cafes and is beautifully decorated in the rich and elegant Savoy style. Thank you, thank you. This place is amazing. If you look around you, you see all this old art and lovely foods spread all the way across the bar. The feel in here is amazing, and I hear that it is truly famous for its chocolate. Once again, the Turin is the favourite here, and it's a fitting match to the decor with a rich and velvety texture. This is molto bene. Beautiful. Oh, thank you.
Turin in the beginning of the century was a very important location for coffee because a lot of quite traditional and ancient cafeterias were founded in the beginning of the century. For this reason, my great-grandfather was successful in the coffee business because he started in 1895 with a grocery store, not only selling coffee but also other products, other foods. But coffee became very, very important because the demand for coffee in Turin was quite high. This place is the historical location of Lavazza. Here the company was founded in 1895. It was a very small grocery store. A store not only focused on coffee, but you could buy here a lot of different stuff, as for example soap, sugar, pepper, spices.
All here?
All here, and coffee in the counter. In the back there was the warehouse, very small. So my great-grandfather decided to try to sell, to become a wholesaler. But in 1910, he decided to invest a lot of his time and not a lot of money because he was not so rich in coffee. Beginning to roast, to prepare the blends and to sell its favorite blends here in this country.
This is amazing.
And was successful.
In 1995, Lavazza celebrated their centenary and brought back this original store. It has been transformed into a super modern cafe filled with Lavazza memorabilia, and as you'd expect, the coffee here is wonderful. The final destination on my Turin cafe tour is the Fiorio, which also goes by the title Coffee House of the Pigtails, due to its popularity with the aristocrats. In business since 1780, this cafe was a favourite haunt of liberals who gathered at the beautiful marble bar to devise plans for the unification of the region. The Turin is a morning staple in Turin. But for those of us who don't live here, I wondered what chocolate and coffee combination was most favoured. I bought you some chocolate from Torino.
Wonderful.
And I want to know what kind of coffee you have to drink with this.
Thank you. My dietist suggests me that. Lele, no bread, no pasta, only chocolate. It's very good for my glycemia, you know. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. But now I suggest one thing. With that,
yes,
wonderful coffee or wonderful cappuccino. In Italy, we mix, not together. We hit a little chocolatino, little chocolate, and then a wonderful coffee. Or cappuccino. I know that you prefer cappuccino.
I like cappuccino.
I know.
The Capuchin Order of Friars, established in 1525, were involved in the Reformation of Catholicism. They take their name from the Italian term cappuccio, meaning hood, and the cappuccino coffee was named after the colour of their hoods.
Magnifica machine. You can do...
A cappuccino is a combination of espresso coffee, steamed milk and milk foam. This coffee is typically served in a ceramic cup, which has better heat retention than glass. The foam on top of the cappuccino serves as an insulator, allowing the coffee to retain heat for a longer period.
Ruins the coffee. Okay.
Then, how to make cappuccino? Attention.
I'm watching.
First,
Yes. The cup.
second, the milk.
The milk.
Put the milk inside here and press very well.
Yes.
And now, let me see if it's okay. Push. Cappuccino. Did you see?
Yes, I
Cappuccino.
see that.
You wait a little moment.
When making a cappuccino, the most important elements are both the texture and the temperature of the milk. Steaming or frothing the milk creates a microfoam, or tiny bubbles resulting from the pressure and the heat of the steam. This becomes the foam on top of the drink, but if the milk is overheated, it will ruin the flavour of the cappuccino.
See. Magnifica. It's magnifico. That's the reason because, attention, this is your cappuccino. Before, I think, to put a little...
Oh, yeah. Oh, now you're talking. This is my kind of cappuccino.
That's for you.
Now, can I have...
If you want to have a little...
Oh.
Just one, huh?
Just one?
Yes, just one.
Just one. All right, here we go.
And this one. Prova. Try it. Too hot?
That's perfect.
I know.
That is beautiful.
I'm the best.
After spending time in this charming city, it's hard to believe that it still serves as home base for Alfa Romeo, Lancia and Fiat, all icon brands of Italian car racing. In the early 20th century, there were in fact more than 30 car companies operating in Turin, testimony to the quiet achiever spirit of this region. Whether you are enjoying the opulence of Cafe San Carlo or Baratti and Milano, touring the picturesque hillside monuments or enjoying a chocolatey Bicerin, I guarantee you will never get tired of Torino. Turin, or Torino as they say here in Italy, is a wonderful destination for a coffee traveller, with snow-capped mountains, delicious chocolate and some very elegant cafes. Hope you enjoyed the show, and join me next time as I search for great coffee in the finest cafes in the world. Walking through shot. Which was made famous during the Italian Wars of Independence. Jewels and patriots alike. And apparently... Oh, right. Halfway through the shot. I'm here to visit the... I'm here to visit the Cafe San Carlo.
Sounds good. I'll probably do it in voiceover.